And I'm going to connect some dots today, get some serious subject matters to get through. But I'm going to be connecting immigration, our open border, and the way we've used immigration policy in order to try to import some not just anti-American values, but to really subvert the country and to try to undermine Americanism itself. But the White House is standing up to this. The White House is going around the world and taking out all the bad guys before they come here. Dr. Gorka talked a little bit about this, and this clip I thought was pretty unbelievable. This is from my podcast. Remember, I'm doing 3 original podcasts every week beyond the live radio show, which also shows up in your podcast feeds. But this is cut one, guys. Check this out.
The mainstream media who told us that you cannot fix the border without a new bill in Congress with the House and the Senate in agreement. Well, no, the president did it. Tom Homan, Governor Noem, Stephen Miller are rousting up all the bad guys, getting them out of the country, and nobody's discussing that one issue. But then you have to add all the others from Sharm el-Sheikh to NATO 5%, to Greenland, to the drug boats, to the, I can now mention this because we keep a tally as of this morning, 516 jihadis smited by the president, 86 U.S. hostages repatriated with nary a ransom paid to anyone. The speed with which the president moves is like nothing in the modern history of the presidency. And of course, they're all successes which the mainstream lying legacy media will never, ever discuss in the way they need to be discussed.
We got the full interview for you at the Marlow feed, over 30 minutes with Dr. G. I mean, incredible data there. And I just love the use of the word smited. I mean, that's got to be the highlight. I mean, I guess the real highlight is we're taking on the jihadis, but perfect use of the word smited. And you can't argue with that. It's good stuff from Dr. G. But this is so important because so much of our conversation gets overwhelmed by whatever the loudest voices want to discuss. But really, isn't this the biggest stuff? The speed in which the Trump administration is killing jihadis all over the world, but also doing it in such a way where we're not getting in sort of any protracted, prolonged regime change wars that are costing a lot of blood and treasure. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm glad I can share some of those details with you. But one other thing that Dr. G brought up, which is very interesting because he brought this up and I brought it up to him. I asked him about it. And then I was surprised to see this in Peter Schweizer's book, The Invisible Coup, but a rediscovery of the topic of the Muslim Brotherhood, which was a fixation on the online right and people like me in the early days of the blogosphere, some 18, 20 years ago. A lot of Muslim Brotherhood talk. This has faded a little bit. We'll get to this with Peter this week as well. But here's Dr. G reacting to my question about the Trump administration finally designating the Muslim Brotherhood foreign terrorist organization, or at least some of their chapters. Play cut 2.
I mean, this is truly tectonic. This should have happened 30, 40 years ago. No president had the testicular fortitude to do it. In the first Trump administration, we had these discussions, Alex, 7, 8 years ago. We wanted to do this. It was impossible. The deep state sabotaged it. And it happened. And, I don't want to tempt fate, but the lack of reaction, not just from the losers in the mainstream lying legacy media and the establishment think tank experts, the lack of response from the bad guys is really quite shocking. I mean, we've grasped the most important chapter of the Muslim Brotherhood. And calm down, all you experts out there on the Twitter sphere. We're coming after all of them, okay? One by one. You don't eat an elephant with one bite. You slice and dice like a stick of salami.
Yeah, and Peter actually compares the Muslim Brotherhood to Al-Qaeda and other organizations at that level. And what he's reacting to at the end there is that how, I guess technically not every Muslim Brotherhood chapter was designated a foreign terror organization by the Trump administration yet, but many of them have, some of those powerful ones have, and I think the intention is to keep adding more. But I'm for a sensible approach. This is huge progress, and it would have been unthinkable. We lobbied for this very hard in prior administrations at Breitbart News and elsewhere, and we just never saw any progress on this. But the way these dots connect, and I'll get to this with Peter after the break in the next segment, the way these dots connect is that it has actually been a American policy to encourage organizations like the Muslim Brotherhood, even though what they've done is they've teamed up with American leftists in this very bizarre marriage that have taken place between the left and the jihadist, Islamist, not all jihadists, but certainly Islamist movements around the world and also in this country to work together. Why do they work together when they have so little in common? I'll get Peter's answer later, but my answer is because they have a common enemy. And that's very powerful in politics. When the enemy of the enemy is my friend in a lot of cases. And that's a lot of how politics works in Washington. I've witnessed it firsthand that politics makes very strange bedfellows where people are teaming up and they work together. So what is that enemy that the left and the Islamists around the world have? That's American values. That's in God we trust. That's e pluribus unum. That's liberty. The American Trinity, as my friend Dennis Prager talks about it. I'm sitting in his chair right now. That is exactly what they're working against, and they're working to subvert it. And their main weapon against it has really been immigration. It's also been the establishment media, but the establishment media we're making huge progress there. But the way we've used the immigration system in particular with sanctuary movements in order to try to make it so that it's not just normalized, but some people are the best. Some people who we import who are not naturally Americans have become the best Americans. And the brainwash has already gotten into the conservative movement as well. The Republican establishment has been absolutely a part of this. And even some people who are newer members of the Trump MAGA coalition do not understand that America is not only an economy, but it is a heritage, it is a homeland, and it has a core set of values, that American Trinity. I think of the First Amendment and the Second Amendment as key to that. And that's what we're preserving. And all of these are anathema to both the left and the Islamist movements around the world. They've worked together very hard to try to undermine what it means to be an American and the American system itself. We need to fight back against that. And that's why I like the idea of Trump trying to expand Americanism around the world. Very important. Try to lock down our hemisphere and secure it. There's so much more we can do, and we have a very finite amount of time. There's only 3 years left of the Trump administration. And, God willing, maybe there'll be some more. I'm up for it. I'm open-minded. I'll have those discussions if we're doing Trump 2028. Let's see it. And we got to bide our time because Barron's only like 18, so he can't run for a while. Maybe Melania can run. She's one of the best Trumps.